For all your t-shirt needs, check out TeePublic's Killer Selection. Follow the link in the description. Hey, what's up, people? Pizzal here, and today I want to talk to you guys about 2017's Cult of Chucky, the 7th Child's Play movie, or the 7th Chucky movie in the series. And now, full disclosure before I dive into this review, beyond the original Child's Play, which to me is a classic, it's a movie I rented all the time as a kid. My buddy and I at the time, we'd rent this, we'd watch it, we loved it, we'd recite Chucky dialogue back and forth to each other in our best Chucky voices. But beyond that first film, Child's Play 2, Child's Play 3, Bride of Chucky, I can kind of take them or leave them. I've seen each of those movies once or twice. It just didn't really do anything for me. Seed of Chucky, I've skipped entirely. I've seen maybe a few minutes of it here and there when it airs on television. The more comedic, silly, super campy road that they took the series down just didn't seem very appealing to me. So when I went into Curse of Chucky, I'm probably going to call Cult of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, and Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky in this review, so bear with me. But when I went into Curse of Chucky, I really had low to no expectations, and by the end of that movie, I was really pleasantly surprised. I thought the horror elements and the humor elements were really well balanced, and both of them were done quite intelligently, I thought, in Curse of Chucky. I liked the performances. I liked the addition of Fiona Dorff, Brad Dourif's daughter, in the film. I loved the ending of the movie in which Andy Barclay, spoiler alert, shows up. I just thought that was a really fun and pleasant surprise to cap off a surprisingly fun Chucky movie. So when I heard that Cult of Chucky was coming out and it was going to directly follow the events of Curse of Chucky, I was like, hey, let's give it a shot. Let's, you know what I mean? Let's go into it with an open mind, and maybe we'll be as pleasantly surprised with Cult of Chucky as we were with Curse of Chucky. And I can safely say that at least the first half of Cult of Chucky is a pretty darn good, interesting, and entertaining film. The second half, not so much. The movie opens with Andy Barclay, played again by Alex Vincent. He's out on a date with a woman, and unfortunately she's Googled him and is now fully aware of his very interesting background, let's just say, and it's all way too much for her, so she bails. We get the understanding that this is not the first relationship that's been derailed by his interesting history. He goes back to his very secluded, very, very well-armed home, and we become privy to the dark side of the character and how he's been able to kind of deal with the Chucky stigma in his own unique and kind of disturbing way. The movie then transitions to Fiona Dorff's character. She's in a mental hospital. No one believes her, shockingly enough, that a doll murdered her entire family. They think that she, of course, did it herself, so she has been institutionalized. She actually gets transferred to a more minimum security mental institution, and soon thereafter, multiple Chucky dolls just kind of appear, and Chucky's back, because you can't keep a good guy down. And the first half of Cult of Chucky is a really well-made, really well-written, intelligent horror movie with a pretty nice sense of humor about itself. We get some really nice kills. We get some really interesting moments amongst the patients of this mental institution. However, and right around the midway point of Cult of Chucky, the movie entirely runs out of steam and just grinds to an absolute halt. From there on out, and this is sort of the body count portion of the film, it feels completely disjointed The pacing goes way off the rails. The second half of Cult of Chucky feels 3 times longer than the first half of the movie. It becomes just really kind of confusing. There is I don't want to give too much away here. I don't want this to become a spoiler review, but something happens, a plot device happens in Cult of Chucky that just really, it kind of killed the character of Chucky for me. And I think that's the biggest flaw of Cult of Chucky, is that, you know, Brad Dourif, his voice becomes such a presence as Chucky. But in Cult of Chucky, that presence is completely absent. And it seems like the movie relied far too much on, you know, really cool, really well choreographed kills instead of instilling that presence. That's the only word that really comes to mind. An overwhelming presence, because he is such a good actor. And that just feels absent in Cult of Chucky. And I don't recall there being a whole lot of Chucky dialogue. And what a huge waste that seems. I mean, you have Brad Dourif. Brad Dourif he's the one constant throughout the entire Chucky series. And even in the lesser Chucky movies, you still had Brad Dourif. You still had that presence there. You still had that, you know, that wit, that sarcasm, that dark humor. And that felt entirely lacking for me in Cult of Chucky. And I think that's a huge part of why the second half of the film just feels completely amiss. It just felt completely off to me. Now, from a technical standpoint, the movie's well made. The performances all around are good. Fiona Dourif gives a great performance. Alex Vincent gives a great performance. Jennifer Tilly's in there, but she feels really just underused and misused as well. There's some really nice kills in the film as well. My favorite involving a can of compressed air and a really large window. However, overall, Cult of Chucky is a disappointment. The first half is good, but the second half is so the opposite that it brings down my enjoyment of the first half to the point where I really can't even give a lukewarm recommendation for Cult of Chucky. Now, if you're a big fan of the Chucky series, you'll probably enjoy it for what it is. But I think even hardcore Chucky fans will find it difficult to love Cult of Chucky. If you've seen Cult of Chucky, please let me know what you think of it down in the comment section below. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. They're also right around here. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.